What's up, guys? Today we're going to do part 2 walking 5 videos. This time it's going to be 1 hour 30 minutes. You're right. Hey, come on, I'll show you. See? What is he? Oh, he put his box on here. So I'll put it a different. I'll put it here. I put one. Some things I have to do. So, we'll comment. I'm coming. So, are you ready to start? Okay, let's get going. There it is. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Are you ready to watch now? Comment, like, and subscribe. Then it will get 1 million views. See? That's suggestive. That's just so sure. Hey, do you want to watch the iPhone? Then let's watch. Then let's watch.
नया लक्स बॉडी वॉश इसमें है खास फूलों के तत्व जो दे खुशबू 12 घंटों तक बनाए अपने नहाने को और भी बेहतर ट्राई करें नया लक्स बॉडी वॉश
She's starting. See? 2024, 2021.
Wow! Oh, Dada's birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just uploading a film.
Film.
Yeah.
This.
Watching 5 videos.
Ah.
A video over a video. 13. Hey, this one also released on Dada's birthday.
24
The
September.
next is
That also on 24 September.
no, that March 8th, my friend's birthday.
That is Dada. Your grandpa's birthday.
What March 8th?
Papa, Dada,
Hey,
Dada.
my friend, which is my roll number before my roll number is same day.
Arey, it is your grandpa's. Aja's birthday. 8th March.
Oh! Dynamic island.
What are you doing? Uploading?
No, I'm filming.
सीता अब होगा क्या खतरनाक दिखती है
आपको चंद बातें क्या लेकर भेज दी हमने कश्मीर को बर्फ के हवाले करके आ गए
सफर में जिसका इंतजार था वो मिली या नहीं
My first part also, I made one part.
Disney Plus Hotstar पर
I'm filming the second.
Filming.
Wash after wash, metal penetrates inside your hair and creates a risk of break.
This is a bike helmet with clips. You wear it around your neck, and if you ever have a dramatic fall, this thing can detect your motion and it apparently inflates a full-on airbag around your head. What? I played so fast. It was apparently 8 times more effective than a traditional bike helmet. I've got 8 more gadgets in front of me, and in the exact same way, each of them takes something normal, but does it in a way that you'd never expect. So for example, this is the $300 Balmuda toaster, and it toasts your bread using water. No, this is not a TikTok life hack gone wrong. This is genius. So it should just be a case of popping the bread inside, adding the water with this adorable little cup, choosing the type of bread that I'm toasting, and then setting the timer. Oh, this is satisfying. Very pleasant bit of engineering. The toaster is then going to boil that water, turn it into steam, and pass that steam over our bread. The steam then forms like a layer of moisture around it, and because moisture heats up faster than air, this can very quickly toast the bread's surface, forming a crispy layer, and leaving the inside protected and fluffy. How will you taste this when it's done? And while we wait for it, next up in this almost sci-fi looking package is a keyboard. And you might be thinking, no it isn't. Where are the keys? Right here, my friends. The makers of this product, the tap strap, basically realized that by adding accelerometers to every one of your fingers, they can detect the position of them, and therefore what you would have wanted to type without even needing to hit an actual key. So I can write my video scripts like this, I can write them like this, I can write them like this. You'll notice a little optical sensor right here. That's your mouse. So just by moving your thumb along the surface, you are moving your cursor. And then the cherry on top, if I finger guns my iPad, I promise you this is not a joke. Each time you realize that I want it to become a pointer, it will switch the sensors that it's using to measure movement and gesture control it. The only problem is that this is literally like learning another language. Like if I want to type an E, that's one tap of my index finger. If I want to type a U, that's one tap of my little finger. If I want to type a minus, that's 2 taps of all 4 of my fingers. And then if I want to start typing special characters, the whole hand gets involved. It does have the potential to be a game changer, but me personally, I'm not looking forward to learning 200 new gestures today. But we can get crazier. So, when I say the word glass to you, what do you think of? The glass shattering? Someone knocking over a glass and it making a mess everywhere? Probably something along those lines. We actually broke the glass, not clever, so no. Anyways, this is what inspired the mighty Mug Company to build a glass that was both unbreakable and unspinnable. Their words, not mine. Okay, that actually is quite impressive. But what's arguably more interesting is the fact that when you then want to pick it up, you just... How does that work? Well, the material is Triton plastic, which is completely clear, but apparently as strong as skin steel. And then the really interesting thing is this base, which is effectively a specialized suction cup. It forms a rubber seal with the surface that's stuck on, reducing the air pressure under the cup, and therefore creating a strong downward pulling force. Alright, I've got my best selection of weapons. Everything is breakable if you try hard enough. Come on. Oh my god! I'm whacking it! You try. Just try and smack it. Literally, go for it. Just knock it. I don't think I've ever had a product that's so...
But hurt now? Very good.
I mean, the cup's still fine. And then what happens when you lift it directly upwards is that it has air vents that can detect this, and then utilize that air pressure difference to remove the downward pulling force.
Keep it here, huh?
Right. Now you've got the idea of the video, there's probably no more literal example of thinking smart about a hugely dumb concept than an actual smart mirror. The idea of a smart mirror is a very sci-fi concept, so I'm very curious what it's going to do. This beast. Good. Gym paying off. Wow, so providing you can hide the cable, this is actually a really clean unit. Anyways, the way that a normal one-way mirror works is they tend to have a microscopically smooth layer of metal at the back and then a piece of glass on top of it, which is designed to just not interfere with the light coming to and from. But for a smart mirror like this one, you need a two-way mirror design, which still has that metal, but instead of having a thick metal sheet at the back, it's more of a thin sheet that has some metallic elements at the front. And that's what allows you to see this 15 or so inch display that's on the bottom half of this mirror, while also being able to see my face. Oh, we have lights. Fun fact, this is why if you wanted to check whether a mirror is two-sided and you're being watched from the other side, you just put your finger on it. And if there's a gap between your fingernail and the reflected image, it's a normal mirror. But if there isn't, there's a good chance it's a two-way mirror and there is someone on the other side. Anyways, now that we've got the mirror part of it sorted, let's see what the smart part means. Nice that it's a touchscreen. Wait, is that an after? No way. It's so weird that this is a mirror. It's got speakers as well. 100,000. It goes really loud. It's possible the resolution of our mirror. It's not the most responsive interface I've ever used, but it's a surprisingly clear image given that it's actually sitting behind a mirror. Oh, we've got our Spotify working as well. Nice. Ah, you can mirror your phone too. This is a really tough one, because I think it's such a cool piece of kit, and I love the idea of being fully connected while sitting in the bathroom, but you could just take your phone and do things probably faster. This next thing, this stem player, is absolutely fascinating. So, it's a speaker, but you can probably already tell by the way it's presented, and the way the thing looks, that it's coming at it from a different angle. Funnily enough, this thing is actually a collab between Carno Computing, this really wacky company who creates these interesting live solutions with their products, like the flexible webcam and the DIY headphones, and then Kanye West, who I imagine based on his ridiculous shoe lineup, probably had something to do with this design. Why does it feel like skin? But what this tiny, slightly gross thing allows you to do is to remix any song you play through it on the fly in real time. It actually uses artificial intelligence to break any track you put into it into 4 parts, or stems, like vocals, bass, drums, instrumentals, and then it gives you individual control over each of them. I have the LED lights on front. You just slide your finger on these pads and individual parts of the song will change. You can like speed up individual bits and loop certain parts of the track. So for example, this slider here is vocals, so if I drag that in, it gets rid of the vocals. Seeing that happen in real time is kind of crazy. It kind of feels like it's making me the conductor of an orchestra, and I can tell individual band members to quieten down. Let's get rid of the instrumental track. And then when you're done listening, but there is one major catch. For this track splitting to work, you have to upload the music onto their site, let it process it, then download it and put it onto the player. Which would have been fine back when everyone was storing their MP3s, but I haven't done that for about 7 years, because my entire library is on Spotify, which this does not support. Right, this one is about as low-tech as it gets. It's a chatbot, but it's earned its place in this video thanks to a very clever bit of thinking. The idea comes from the fact that most people like fun in their home. But then, if you're in a London or New York City apartment, you're paid for every square inch of that place, and you don't want to waste it. So, why not secure the soil with this collar, flip the whole thing upside down, and hang the plant from the far less valuable ceiling space? I know it sounds crazy, but there's actually very good downside. You can water from the base of the plant, and they even built in a porous water reservoir up top, which means that unlike a normal plant pot that you have to water every day, they thought this once every couple of weeks, so then depending on how wet the soil is at any given time, more or less water will flow in from that reservoir to diffusion.
Driving a BMW is an experience like no other. What if owning a BMW were a unique experience too? Welcome to the BMW Corporate Advantage Program. Each part of the program is crafted in such a way that makes it, quite honestly, the best way to own a BMW.
Time to check our water toaster. I feel like I've just treated my bread to a spa. That is a glorious slice of toast. And this is a normal slice of toast from my normal peasant toaster. One of the most obvious differences is the evenness of the toasting. Healthy load of butter on each. Normal slice of toast. You can taste this very slight burnt flavour. And the bread is kind of mildly crispy all the way through. 6 out of 10. And now, this feels much crustier. Oh my God. I think you could have heard that crunch in the other room. It's a weird description, but you can really feel the structure of the bread. And that sound is something else. 9 out of 10. And a sub to the channel would be delectable. Now we go on to the real cool stuff. Some more better. So fundamentally, this, the C3 Rover, is a cooler. The same type of cooler that you buy to chuck a couple of beers in on a hot day. But this one is also a car, which actually brings with it a whole suite of other perks. It's trying to be the type of cooler that you'd want to host a party with. So they made it remote controlled, so that instead of having to actually pass you a drink like some kind of Neanderthal, I can drive your drink to you. You can't drink and drive. You can drive your drink. Plus, the range is 200 feet, which means you'd barely be able to see it by the time you lose connection. It's got LED headlights baked into it to light your party up at night. Handholders on either side. This isn't even sponsored by Fuel. And it's also a 20-watt Bluetooth speaker. And it's actually surprisingly full sound, presumably because it's using this massive chamber inside to be able to push out more air. Let's see if Milo wants a party. Yeah! No, this is not bleeding edge tech, don't get me wrong, but it is a really clever way to tie in lots of things that you would naturally want to have together anyway. But this thing is a genuine marvel. We've seen a speaker in a car and a speaker that can remix on the fly. You've probably never seen a speaker made out of lightning. This is the Tesla Music Hall. And I just want to be very clear here. This is going to play music. There's no physical speaker here. The music is going to come from the sparks that this box generates. So right now, what this is doing is creating an extremely high voltage. So high that electrons are just starting to fly off this tip, creating plasma, or what looks to you like lightning. And that plasma is causing vibrations in the air, and therefore this horrifying sound. It does not feel safe. And you can actually turn the power up using this slider here. Oh my God, I don't feel safe. But this is where it gets insane. You can flick this tab here to turn it into music mode, which allows it to pair to my phone via Bluetooth, and then when I play a song, it will try to recreate that track using plasma as the instrument. There goes nothing. What? That is one of the coolest things I have seen in my entire life. I can't believe the word. The craziest part of this is that you can actually hear the words. It is recreating the human voice using language. Oh, you know what else that's different? The Rhino Shield Solid Suit phone case. This is very solid flooring. And the case has actually just been upgraded. It's easier to put on and take off, it's easier to clean, it's grippier, you can now get a version with MagSafe compatibility. And this is my favorite thing about Rhino Shield cases, it's even more customizable. You can change the buttons, you can change the camera in, you can choose from what feels like a million different designs, all the way from PewDiePie to Naruto. You can get them for iPhones, you can get them for mini Androids, or if you'd rather actually just stop your phone being dropped in the first place, you can go for the grip. My girlfriend's actually had one of those on her phone since I gave it to her months ago. She loves it. And then for Black Friday, up until the end of the month, you can use the code Mr. Friday to get an additional 10% off on top of the already up to 60% off that's happening site-wide.
This month, Sony goes cricket crazy. Audio reveries. Cooling deaths of endurance. Scorching T20 battles. Get into the cricket mania this month. Only on Sony. कुछ पाना हो तो रहना होगा ready to go. इसलिए सिर्फ आयुर्वेदिक क्रेली स्प्रे.
It's been more than 15 years since the release of the first generation iPhone. Literally billions of Apple's mobile devices have been sold during that time. with technical improvements and constant upgrades making for an ever-changing and improving user experience. With the recent release of the iPhone 14, 14 Plus, 14 Pro, and 14 Pro Max, what better time to look back at the iPhone's incredible achievements? This is the evolution of the iPhone. Before the iPhone was released, the most popular mobile phone was the Nokia 1200. But there were also more advanced phones like the Motorola Q. However, in 2007, Apple designed a device that would completely revolutionize the mobile phone industry.
This is a day I've been looking forward to for 2.5 years.
Well, the iPhone definitely was revolutionary, and the introduction of the iPhone basically meant the funeral for Nokia. The iPhone was introduced as a product that combines 3 devices.
An iPod. A phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device, and we are calling it iPhone.
The first iPhone was released in 2007, and unlike many of its competitors, like the Motorola Q, it did not feature a QWERTY keyboard. The iPhone was entirely different. It only had 1 button and a 3.5-inch widescreen display.
It works like magic. You don't need a stylus. It's far more accurate than any touch display that's ever been shipped. It ignores unintended touches. It's super smart. You can do multi-finger gestures on it, and boy, have we patented it.
Another major feature that made the iPhone so successful were the applications and the easy-to-use software.
Software that's at least 5 years ahead of what's on any other phone.
The iPhone had a 2-megapixel camera, good performance, and multiple storage options. All this came at a high starting price of $499. For this amount of money, you could almost buy 10 Nokias. Besides being cheap, the Nokia had one other advantage. It was almost indestructible. The iPhone, on the other hand, not so much. Despite this, the iPhone became a massive success, and 6.1 million units were sold. Fun fact, did you know that Apple made the first iPhone prototype in 1983? Back then, it wasn't a smartphone, but a landline phone with a touchscreen computer and a stylus. Steve Jobs was not a big fan of the stylus, though, or even buttons, it seems, and thankfully technology had advanced enough by 2007 that the iPhone could offer a more intuitive and easier to use touchscreen without the need for a stylus.
Who wants a stylus? You have to get them and put them away and you lose them. Yuck.
So in 2008, Apple introduced the iPhone 3G, which they described as twice as fast at half the price.
It surfs the web and downloads data twice as fast for half the price. Introducing.
While the first iPhone was $499, the 3G seemed much cheaper, with a suggested retail price of $199 for the 8GB model and $299 for the 16GB model. That price was reduced further to $99 with the release of the 3GS. However, the cut-price 3G model then required a 2-year contract or $499 without one, and hidden fees were not warmly received by critics. One of the 3G's main features was being able to connect to 3G networks. This significantly improved the speed of mobile internet. It was also the first iPhone with a built-in GPS and the App Store. In 2009, Apple released the iPhone 3GS, with the S standing for speed. Due to a new chip and double the RAM, Apple claimed that the 3GS was twice as fast as its predecessor. It also came with an improved battery. It allowed users to watch videos for up to 10 hours. The camera was upgraded to 3 megapixels and it had 32GB storage option, but the starting price was $599. The iPhone 3GS became a huge success. Within the first weekend, over 1 million units were sold. Fun fact, originally the iPhone was going to have a plastic screen. However, when Jobs had a prototype in his pocket, the screen was scratched by his keys. That's why the screen was replaced by glass. iPhone had its first major redesign in 2010 with the iPhone 4. Compared to the previous iPhones, it was thinner, had sharper edges, and a stainless steel frame.
This is, beyond a doubt, the most precise thing, one of the most beautiful things we've ever made.
It also came with a front camera so people could use FaceTime and to make selfies. It was also the first iPhone with a high-resolution Retina screen. The rear camera was improved to 5 megapixels, and the RAM was doubled. The iPhone 4 became yet another massive success, and an estimated 50 million units have been sold. Sadly, on October 5th, 2011, the iPhone's brilliant creator, Steve Jobs, passed away at the age of 56. He will forever be remembered as a man who inspired millions with his passion and creativity, while creating innovative products adopted and admired around the world. Following Tim Cook's appointment as CEO of Apple in 2011, the next iPhone to be launched was the 4S. This time, the S did not stand for speed, but for Siri. Hey Siri, what is 0 divided by 0?
Imagine that you have 0 cookies, and you split them evenly among 0 friends. How many cookies does each person get? See, it doesn't make sense. And Cookie Monster is sad that there are no cookies, and you are sad that you have no friends.
Wow, I just got roasted by Siri.
Do you think it will snow today? It sure looks like snow today.
Say hello to Siri on the most amazing iPhone yet.
The iPhone 4S had a new Apple A5 chip that allowed for up to 7 times faster graphics. It also came with a better camera that could record in full HD, and it had an option for 64 gigabytes of storage. The iPhone 4S became an even bigger success than its predecessor, selling an estimated 60 million units in total.
We want to make a much better phone. iPhone 5 is the result of this approach. It's been completely redesigned. And for the first time ever, we've increased the size of the display.
Next came the iPhone 5 with a bigger 4-inch display. The new Lightning connector made the iPhone 5 charge faster. It was also 18% thinner and 20% lighter than the iPhone 4S. Apple claimed it was the thinnest smartphone in the world at 7.6 millimeters. And that's not all. It also had a faster chip.
We're also introducing an all-new Apple-designed A6 chip. It delivers performance that's up to twice as fast as the previous generation.
The iPhone 5 also had a better front camera, and the RAM was improved to 1 gigabyte. Fun fact, the App Store with all of its apps are, of course, very important for the success of the iPhone, but did you know there are almost 2 million apps available for download? In 2013, the iPhone 5C was released alongside the more powerful iPhone 5S. The 5C replaced the original iPhone 5's aluminum shell with a hard-coated polycarbonate one, allowing it to be sold in a wide range of colors and for $100 cheaper. Rather than continuing to sell the original iPhone 5 at a lower cost, the 5C replaced it entirely. The iPhone 5S came with Touch ID, which uses a fingerprint scanner located inside the home button as an easier and more secure way to unlock the phone.
The sensor uses advanced capacitive touch to take, in essence, a high-resolution image of your fingerprint from the subepidermal layers of your skin. It then intelligently analyzes this information with a remarkable degree of detail and precision.
It also had an improved battery and was up to twice as fast due to the A7 chip. The iPhone 5S was the world's first phone with a 64-bit SoC, meaning system on a chip, which was an absolute game changer. It meant a huge leap forward in terms of performance, speed, and RAM management. The 5S was a roaring success. Over 163 million units have sold. The iPhone got bigger and better in 2014 with the introduction of the iPhone 6. It was the first iPhone to have Retina HD and a storage option for 128 gigabytes. Buyers can now choose between 2 different screen types, with the iPhone 6 Plus having a larger 5.5-inch display and an improved battery, plus a $100 added price tag.
With iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, we've taken the time to do the deep engineering to design and develop two entirely new iPhones. More significant than just bigger and better displays, the design has never been so compelling, undoubtedly making this the biggest advance in the iPhone since we launched the original.
Fun fact, the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus became the best-selling smartphones of all time. In total, a whopping 222 million units have been sold. The iPhone 6s and 6s Plus were released in 2015. Apple stated that the new A9 chip had up to 70% more CPU and 90% more graphics performance compared to its predecessor. Another key introduction was that of 3D Touch, which enabled pressure-sensitive touch inputs and allowed the device to distinguish between normal and more forceful presses.
The camera shoots 4K video now, which changes how your movies look. Nice. Even selfies have changed. Now your screen is the flash. That's gonna get like 1 million likes.
Thanks.
Actually, photos themselves have changed. They move now. You just touch them.
The iPhone 6s also had a better front and back camera as well as 2 gigabytes of RAM. Besides the larger screen, the iPhone 6s Plus also had a better battery, but it was $100 more expensive. The first generation iPhone SE, or Special Edition, was released in 2016, and it was basically a cheaper and smaller version of the iPhone 6s. It had the same processor as the 6s, but had a screen size of just 4 inches. The iPhone SE's slogan was, "A big step for small." The front camera was downgraded, but it came at a starting price of just $399.
We have created a product that is the most deliberate evolution of our original founding design.
In the same year, the iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus were released. The headphone jack was removed, and now you had to use a lightning cable headphone jack or use the wireless AirPods that were released at the same time. It also became the first water-resistant iPhone model. The front camera was improved and it came with a 256 gigabyte storage option. The iPhone 7 Plus didn't have one, but 2 cameras at the back. These dual cameras considerably improved the quality of photos and videos when zooming in. The iPhone 7 Plus also had increased RAM. It was sold for $769. Fun fact, in 2016, Apple managed to sell its billionth iPhone. If you thought that was impressive, wait till the end to find out how many iPhones have been sold in total. In 2017, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus were released. It had wireless charging. This means that the phone can be charged through the glass cover on the back of the phone by placing it on a wireless pad. It also came with the A11 Bionic chip, making it about 30% faster than the iPhone 7. The price of the iPhone 8 was increased by $50. The larger iPhone 8 Plus had an improved dual camera, but it did cost $100 more. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus have sold more than 86 million units, making it the 5th best-selling smartphone of all time. The iPhone 9 never existed. It was skipped to make way for the iPhone X, which, if you know your Roman numerals, stands for the number 10. Indeed, the iPhone X marked the 10th anniversary of the release of the original iPhone. The X was the first iPhone that didn't have a home button. This made it possible to have a larger display on a smaller phone. It was also the first to have an OLED screen.
The custom OLED panel was engineered to fold and seamlessly combine with the external surfaces. Mechanical buttons give way to touch and gestures. There's no home button. A single swipe takes you to the home screen.
Face ID was added, enabling you to unlock your phone using facial recognition.
To let you unlock your phone with a glance. We call this Face ID. It maps the unique geometry of your face with over 30,000 invisible dots. Your iPhone now recognizes you, even in the dark, and will adapt to your physical changes. This makes your face your secure password.
Or it could capture the look of shock and dismay on people's faces as the iPhone X's price tag was revealed to be an eye-watering $999.
The price, $999. iPhone XS, iPhone XS Max. They are
stunning. The best iPhones we've ever made by a long shot. 1 year later, in 2018, the iPhone XS and XS Max were released.
iPhone XS is completely uncompromising. The expansive Super Retina display with OLED delivers vivid brightness, true blacks, and high dynamic range content. iPhone XS Max has the largest display ever on an iPhone.
Both came with the very advanced A12 Bionic chip.
The A12 Bionic chip is the smartest and most powerful chip ever in a smartphone. Its next generation neural engine dedicates machine learning to everything from augmented reality to photography.
The iPhone XS featured a 5.85-inch OLED display, increased RAM, and a better battery life compared to the iPhone X, lasting up to 30 minutes longer. The XS Max had a larger 6.4-inch OLED display and a battery life that lasted 1.5 hours longer than the original iPhone X. Unlike the X, both the XS and XS Max came with a storage option of 512 gigabytes. The 64-gigabyte version of the XS cost $999, whereas the XS Max was $100 more. Fun fact, Apple is dominating the smartphone market at this point. As of November 2018, the company had sold over 2.2 billion iPhones.
iPhone XR integrates the same breakthrough technologies.
The iPhone XR followed and became Apple's best-selling model in 2018. It was available in 6 different colors and featured a 6.1-inch liquid retina display. The fact that it was slightly larger yet significantly cheaper than the iPhone X probably helped to boost sales.
The all-screen liquid retina display is the most advanced LCD in a smartphone and the most color accurate in the industry.
The XR was considered an affordable or budget flagship model upon its release. Although it still wasn't cheap, the base 64-gigabyte version had a starting price of $749. Among the drawbacks of the XR were its single rear camera.
The advanced single camera system, combined with machine learning, allows iPhone XR to recognize people, map subjects, and add depth.
It lacked the second telephoto lens and the absence of features such as 3D touch. In fact, the XS and XS Max were the final models of the iPhone to feature 3D touch. In 2019, the iPhone 11, 11 Pro, and 11 Pro Max were released. The iPhone 11 offers a night mode for better images in low-light conditions, and it has a wide camera feature. The front camera was improved to 12 megapixels.
Introducing iPhone 11 Pro.
The iPhone 11 Pro is the first phone to feature the Pro designation, and it was faster than ever before.
The Apple-designed A13 Bionic chip is the most ambitious to date. It's the fastest chip ever in a smartphone, yet more efficient than ever.
It also came with as many as 3 cameras on the back.
The triple camera system combines cutting-edge technology with the extraordinary ease of iPhone.
This did not only allow for better images, but also made it possible to capture the highest quality video of any smartphone and supports a 4K video resolution up to 60 frames per second. The iPhone 11 Pro has an impressive 6 gigabytes of RAM and was sold for $999. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has a larger display and is sold for $1,099.
लिंक पे क्लिक करेंगे तो 5 लाख मिलेंगे। क्या है?
मोटा भाई कहता था 1 किलो गाजर खाने से अंडे में भी उल्लू जैसा दिखेगा। दिखा क्या? तरबूज के बीज खाने से पेट में कीड़ उगेगा। होगा क्या?
मुझे तभी से पता था कि ये फ्रॉड है।
तो फ्रॉडिंग पे क्लिक क्यों कर रहा है यार?
मुझे
जब बचपन में पता था तो आप क्यों बोल रहे हैं यार? जब आपको कोई अनवेरिफाइड लिंक क्लिक करने को बोले तो वो होती है खतरे की घंटी। जल्दी सुनो।
सेफ रहो। थैंक यू।
second generation iPhone SE was released in 2020. The SE2 was 30% larger than its predecessor and had a bigger 4.7-inch display. To improve visuals, it had a True Tone Retina HD display. Having the same dimensions as the iPhone 8, the SE was much faster due to the latest A13 Bionic chip, the fastest smartphone chip at the time. While the second generation SE featured a 12-megapixel rear camera, just like its predecessor, it was improved with new features such as autofocus, image stabilization, and a quad LED True Tone flash. Other improvements included the 7-megapixel front camera and 3 gigabytes of RAM. It had an optional storage option of 256 gigabytes, twice as much as the first generation SE. The smartphone was among the smallest mainstream in-production smartphones at the time of its release. The Verge declared the second generation SE a nail in the coffin for other small phones. Thus, the second generation iPhone SE was significantly better than the first generation, but the starting price stayed the same at $399. Fun fact, due to its low price point and impressive specifications, the second generation iPhone SE turned out to be a massive success. In fact, estimated sales in the first year were around 24 million. The iPhone 12 and 12 mini were introduced in 2020. The iPhone 12 is designed to be 11% thinner, 15% smaller, and 16% lighter than the iPhone 11. The iPhone 12 is also the first iPhone to support 5G.
Today is the beginning of a new era for iPhone.
Smaller and 16% lighter than the iPhone 11. The iPhone 12 is also the first.
I love the feature of iPhones. I love the theme of iPhone 12 and 12 mini. It was significantly better than all the phones. And the 14 is the best for me. And the Pro Max. 14 and Pro Max. iPhone 14 Pro Max. Those two are the stunning iPhones I've ever seen. Now let's continue the movie.
iPhone to support 5G.
Today is the beginning of a new era for iPhone. Today, we're bringing 5G to iPhone.
5G is set to change the world with radically faster speeds.
Apple also introduced Ceramic Shield, which makes the screen much tougher.
Ceramic Shield goes beyond glass by adding a new high-temperature crystallization step, which grows nanoceramic crystals within the glass matrix to dramatically improve toughness.
Ceramic Shield has 4 times better drop performance, meaning if the iPhone 12 falls, it has 4 times the chance of surviving without cracking. It also received a new A14 chip, which significantly increases the speed of the CPU and GPU. The A14 also allows for a dramatic increase in machine learning capabilities. The iPhone 12 was more expensive than the iPhone 11 with a starting price of $799. While the iPhone 12 comes with a 6.1-inch display, the 12 mini is a 5.4-inch display. It was also $100 cheaper. Fun fact, Apple is the largest company in the world and is valued at over $2 trillion. In 2020, Apple generated $274 billion in revenue, of which 50% came from iPhone sales.
This is iPhone 12 Pro.
The iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max were the flagship smartphones in the 14th generation of the iPhone.
The new and improved Pro camera system makes the 12 Pro the photographer's iPhone. iPhone 12 Pro smashes the benchmark for highest quality video in a smartphone. All this and more make iPhone 12 Pro the most powerful iPhone ever.
The iPhone 12 Pro has a slightly larger screen compared to the iPhone 11 Pro. It came in at the same starting price of $999. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has a 6.7-inch display, the largest display ever on an iPhone. It has a starting price of $1,099.
Today, we are thrilled to introduce our next generation of iPhone. Here it is. This is iPhone 13.
In September 2021, the iPhone 13 and 13 mini were released. The iPhone 13 comes with the A15 Bionic chip, which has the fastest CPU and GPU of all smartphones. It also has faster 5G speeds and the most advanced dual camera. A new camera feature called Cinematic Mode allows for automatic changes in focus, so that you can film impressive movie-quality action scenes. The battery life of the iPhone 13 was extended to offer 2.5 hours more compared to the iPhone 12. The iPhone 13 launched with a price of $799 for the 128 gigabyte model, but also offers a version with storage up to 512 gigabytes. The iPhone 13 mini had a launch price of $699 for 128 gigabytes. Its performance is very similar to the full-sized model, only it features a 5.4-inch display rather than a 6.1-inch display.
A faster chip, a high-performance display, and the biggest upgrade ever to the camera. Introducing iPhone 13 Pro. It's ready for you.
The iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max came out at the same time in 2021, and upon release, they were the most advanced smartphones in the world. Both have a larger battery life, allowing for an improved battery life compared to their predecessors. The 13 Pro lasted an additional 1.5 hours, while the iPhone 13 Pro Max adds 2.5 hours. The 13 Pro also included 3 new cameras. According to Apple, it is, quote, our biggest camera advancement ever. It allows for much higher quality photos and videos, further improving upon iPhone's cinematic mode and allowing for stunning images even in darker settings without much light. The iPhone 13 Pro has a 6-inch OLED screen with a resolution of 2.9 megapixels and, for the first time, features a variable 10 to 120 Hz ProMotion display, meaning it is capable of providing smooth motion but can be adjusted to preserve battery.
More powerful, more intelligent, and a world of cinematic possibilities. iPhone 13 Pro.
Another first was the 1 terabyte storage option, which cost $1,499 at launch. The 128 gigabyte model was priced at $999. The 6.7-inch iPhone 13 Pro Max added an extra $100 to those price points.
Did you know that on the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel, you can watch free, daily, professional level market analysis on a popular, actively traded tech stock? The month of November, we're analyzing both Tesla and Apple. And every day we provide key, trend-defining Apple and Tesla support levels for active day traders, swing traders, and near-term position traders, supplemented with highly descriptive chart illustrations.
The third and latest generation iPhone SE was announced in March 2022. Just like the iPhone 13, it uses the toughest glass available for both the front and the back. The size of the third generation iPhone SE is the same as its predecessor, and it also features a 4.7-inch Retina HD display. However, the smartphone is much faster since it has the latest A15 Bionic chip. Apple even stated the third generation iPhone SE is faster than all the competition at any price. Another significant change is that it can connect to 5G networks. The battery life has up to 2 hours more video playback time than the second generation iPhone SE. Just like its predecessor, it has a 12 megapixel rear camera, 7 megapixel front camera, 3 gigabytes of RAM, and storage options up to 256 gigabytes. The price is slightly increased as it comes with a starting price of $429. The 16th and latest generation of iPhones, namely the iPhone 14 and its variants, was released on the 16th of September 2022, with the iPhone 14 Plus coming out 1 month later. The iPhone 14 marks the first time that Apple has completely done away with physical SIM cards. now using eSIM that allows you to activate and transfer your phone plan digitally.
An eSIM is a digital SIM that eliminates the need for a physical SIM card.
Satellite connectivity now means that if you ever find yourself stranded without a signal and in need of help, an emergency SOS feature via satellite can connect you with assistance,
allowing you to deliver critical information to emergency services in places where Wi-Fi and cell service are unavailable.
Hikers can also use the feature to connect with friends and family and share their location throughout the Find My app. Another new safety feature in the iPhone 14 is crash detection, which, as it implies, can detect if you've been in a car crash and automatically contact emergency services if you're unresponsive. It's not all about keeping you safe, though. Other upgrades include improvements to the rear-facing camera and having autofocus on the front-facing camera for the first time. The iPhone 14 Plus, which replaces the mini variation, offers a larger display of 6.7 inches, making it more suitable for playing games and watching your favorite shows. A 128GB 14 Plus costs $899 at launch, $100 more than the standard iPhone 14. Storage options up to 512 gigabytes are available. Fun fact, the iPhone 14 is available in 5 different colors, including product red. With every red iPhone sold, a contribution will be made to a company named Red, which supports people for global health emergencies like AIDS and COVID. Apple and Red have raised $270 million in the fight against global pandemics. An impressive 13.8 million people with HIV have been provided with life-saving treatments due to Apple's support.
It's time to go beyond what a smartphone can do.
The 14 and the 14 Plus will continue to make the most of Apple's strong A15 Bionic chip. But the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max will feature Apple's most powerful chip yet, the A16. The processing speed of the A16 is said to be insanely fast. What's more, they have storage options up to 1 terabyte and include ultra-smooth ProMotion capabilities, as well as an always-on functionality for quickly reading important information while the phone is locked.
This keeps essential information available for the moments where all you need is just a glance.
The latter should result in longer battery life, as viewing information will require less power. The higher-end models also have the new Dynamic Island feature, which dramatically changes both the look and feel of the phone. The controversial display notch is replaced by a much smaller camera in the front. This isn't just an aesthetic change. This area of the screen can now expand and contract in real time to show you things like incoming calls, timers, and important notifications, all while taking up far less screen space than usual. For people who like to multitask, it's sure to boost productivity. Plus, it looks really fun to use. The iPhone 14 Pro will have the best camera to date, the main camera being an impressive 48 megapixels and offering substantially more detail than the 13 Pro. Features like action mode and even better low-light performance will appeal to avid photographers.
Looking at the most impressive iPhone camera system yet. In a major leap, the iPhone 14 Pro's main camera has a 48 megapixel quad-pixel sensor. It captures breathtaking detail, depth, and color, and now gives you the equivalent of 4 Pro lenses at the ready.
The starting price for the iPhone 14 Pro remains at $999, while the Pro Max will cost $1,099 for the 128 gigabyte version. It's amazing how far the iPhone has advanced and continues to progress year after year. I wonder what it will be capable of 5 or 10 years from now. One thing's for sure, there's still more to come from the incredible evolution of the iPhone.
I am going to spoil Spider-Man.